supposed to start this business as an individual practice or a service-based business, we want you, or we would advise you to run this business as a startup, right? So when you are running this business, reaching out to individual people or depending upon word of mouth is something that will take a lot of time for you to be able to scale your practice. And thus, instead of running your business like that, running your business like a startup would be something that is very advisable. Now, what do I mean by that? See, in a business, you don't need to set up a funnel for your practice, for your leads, primarily because in a business it is you as an individual who is generating the leads, who is doing most of the heavy lifting, who is doing the lead generation, who is scheduling the meeting, who is doing the meeting, so on and so forth. But on the contrary, what we recommend to counselors is to be able to set up their own funnel. What do I mean by that? As a career counselor, you are never going to be able to sell yourself. You're only going to be able to position yourself. So in your funnel, at the top of the funnel is where you create awareness. At the top of the funnel is where you do not give any information about your business, about your offers, about your step-by-step process, nothing of that sort. At the top of the funnel, the only thing that you're supposed to be doing is to tell people about, okay, I'm a career counselor and a consultant into the Indian education industry. You've got any kinds of doubts or queries about your career and education, you can come and have a conversation with me. I can help you out with that. So you're not talking about your process, you're not talking about your offerings, you're not talking about anything of that. So the only thing that you're doing is spreading awareness. In the top of the funnel, there are 6 channels through which you can generate leads. Okay. Now, the first thing is that when you start your own business, you need to set up your social media handles. Right? See, your first 100 clients are not going to be coming from your social media handles. They are going to come from your other outreach efforts. But your first 100 clients, even if they come out from some other channels, they are definitely going to be checking you out on social media. Okay, so it's very important for you to be able to set up your social media handles. Now, let me give you an example about why setting up your social media account is extremely important. Let me present my screen. Firstly, let me show you somebody called as High School Mom. So this is a career counselor from Delhi called as Abhishek Gupta. He's been creating content about career counseling for a while. And if you look at this, he's in his late 40s, early 50s, late 40s right now. So a target or age group that we can all in some way or the other relate to. He's got 288K followers on Instagram. And every month he generates a business of around 1 crore just through his Instagram account in an organic manner. No paid ads, nothing of that sort. 1 crore a month through the Instagram channel. And if you look at the kind of content that this counselor is putting up, you'll see that there is nothing out of the box, right? Everything is pretty traditional. Like, one of the content pieces is about don't drop out of college. One of the content pieces is about Gen Zs are over pressurized and how do we deal with them. So every piece of content is pretty average, pretty normal, something that any counselor can think of. But when you put it up in a very structured way, the kind of reach it allows you to get is massive, right? So as we are talking about setting up your funnel for your counseling business, and you can actually take notes about this on to how do you generate that entire funnel. The first thing was about setting up your social media handles. Now, if you look at some of the counselors that we are working with, right? So this is a counselor that we are working with. His name is somebody called as Dhaval Vyas. This is his website called as Career Compass Consulting. This is the platform, and he's recently started making content on Instagram. If you look at his entire journey, this was the first video that he put up, right? This was the first video that he put up.
Parent who is searching for an expert who can guide your child for a successful.
Now he kept on doing this for a period of time, and now his videos has gotten to this extent.
Abroad, but not sure where to begin? I know how confusing it can be in terms of selection of country, course, and coaching. Hello, I am Dhaval Vyas. I am a study.
Right? And if you keep on going ahead now, what he's doing is he's planning on making content which is very organic, which does not sound like he's trying to push something, but something that is very organic.
Confused between science, commerce or arts? एक simple formula बताता हूँ. Interest, क्या पसंद है?
Right? So this is the kind of content that he's putting up on his social media handles. If you look at one of the other counselors that we are working with now, this is almost late 60s, 70-year-old lady from Karur in Tamil Nadu. She has recently started her counseling business, and this is the kind of content that she is making. So something that is very straight up to the camera, and talking about topics which are valuable. So if you look at this,
ஹைவேஸ்லயே 4 lanes 6 lanes வந்துருச்சு. நம்ம கரியர்ஸ்ல அகாடமி என்னோட இன்ஸ்டாகிராம் வீடியோஸ் பார்த்துட்டு ஒரு சிலர் நான் என்ன பண்றேன். Hi parents.
So one of the videos that I recently came across at Vidya ma'am.
Hi parents. Hi. IIT without JEE sounds impossible, right? For years we believed IIT means JEE, no JEE means no IIT, but that's changing. In February,
first thing that's extremely important, and the first main reason why all of you guys have also come to this session, is our social media presence, is the kind of content that we put out. That's our main expertise. So the first thing that you need to do is build a fantastic social media presence. You need to start working on that. That's the first thing, right? In the top of your funnel. That's the first part. Second is you got to create your Google My Business presence to be very aggressive. You need to have the you need to have the reviews onto your Google My Business page. You need to have your presence on your Google My Business page. Anytime somebody is searching for a career counselor near them, the first point of interaction that they're going to be having with your business is through Google. So your presence over there needs to be fantastic. That's the second thing. The third is you got to get yourself listed on platforms like Just Dial, Sulekha, Reddit, Quora, and so on and so forth. Right now, the third is a place where you got to get yourself listed on all these platforms, because every time you search for something on the internet, these are the platforms which pop up first. When you search for a career counselor near me, or when you search for an XYZ vendor near me, sabse pehla jo recommendation aata hai, it is of somebody called as Just Dial, or something called as Sulekha, or something called as Quora, right? So you need to get yourself listed on all these platforms. That is the third thing. The fourth thing that you can do is that you can get yourself enrolled into community clubs. Like, I'll give you an example. One of our counselors recently got enrolled into a community club called as BNI. Now, BNI, for the people over here, anyone over here who's aware of what BNI is? If I can get a quick thumbs up, anyone over here?
Sir, I am BNI member in Nashik.
Oh, wow. Right, Mr. Priyank, Mr. Shami, Mr. Dilip, perfect, right? So BNI is a community. For all the people who don't know this, BNI is a community where all the business owners join. There is one person from one segment. All these people meet once on a weekly basis, and the primary job of this community is for business owners to share referrals with each other. So in our Mumbai chapter, there was a career counselor called as Mr. Prasad Shringarpure. He runs his consultancy on the name of P Square Career Guidance. He joined the BNI club. Over there, he met another lady who's a trophy seller. Now, this lady is a trophy seller for the past 10 years, and she's a B2B trophy seller. So she has a very strong network with school owners and principals and so on and so forth. When he joined the community, for her to share the referrals of a couple of schools was no big deal at all. She shared a couple of referrals of 3 schools. One is Utpal Sangvi in Mumbai, one is R.N. Shah International in Mumbai, one is Barfiwala School in Mumbai. This person got a direct meeting with the principal because it was coming from a referral who is working with these schools for the last 7 to 8 years. This person got a meeting directly with the principal, and because the referral was so strong, they were able to convert all 3 schools. These are actual schools in Mumbai, in Juhu and Andheri West area, right? These schools are working with the counselor for the last 3 years. It's around 4,200 students in total from all of these 3 schools. They're working with the counselor for the last 3 years at 1,500 per student. Now, he's already deployed a counselor in the team where the counselor goes to the school and conducts the session. He is now doing only the job of reaching out to more people. So such community clubs are extremely important, because in these clubs, you might end up trophy sellers. You might end up people who provide bus services to schools, people who sell smart boards to schools, people from publishing houses who are selling books and so on and so forth to schools. Let me give you an example. Chalo, that will come to the next part. So the first one was social media that you need to set up, that needs to be very aggressive. The second one was you need to get yourself on Google My Business, because that is where the first layer of interaction between you and your client is going to happen. The third one is you need to get yourself listed on platforms like Just Dial, Sulekha, and all of these other places where they are the ones which are visible on the top of the Google when you search for anything. The fourth one is you can join these community clubs where you can get network of people who can connect you with B2B partners, so on and so forth. The fifth activity is somewhere where what you need to do is You got to make a list of all the people who sell something or the other to schools or students directly or indirectly. For example, you are living in Pune in certain area. You make a list of 15 industries who are selling directly or indirectly to schools. So they might be uniform sellers, they might be bus services, smart board sellers, trophy sellers, or any of the other service they are providing directly or indirectly to schools. Okay, you make a list of all of these categories. You fire up your Google, you find up 10 vendors in each of these categories, right? You make an Excel sheet, you identify the category, you list down 10 vendors from that category, you strike up a partnership deal with all of these people. Right? I want to convert a school through your network, or I want to reach out to X number of students from your network. And every time I get a student from your network, you come onto my platform, they make the payment, a certain percentage of that amount goes to you. Right? That is the fifth thing. Now, on the platform that we built for counselors, this entire UTM tagging is enabled. तो आप क्या कर सकते हैं, आप जिसके साथ भी पार्टनरशिप स्ट्राइक कर सकते हैं, आप उनको अपने एडमिन पैनल पे एक अलग लॉगिन आईडी पासवर्ड क्रिएट करके दे सकते हैं. So what they can do is they can directly share your website link with their referrals, but when they create an account from that website link, that partner and you, both of y'all will be able to see कि ये वाला स्टूडेंट कौन से पार्टनर या कौन से पार्टनरशिप के थ्रू आया था. तो आपके जो पार्टनर है उसको भी पूरी व्हाइट लेबल्ड विजिबिलिटी मिलेगी कि मेरे एफर्ट्स के थ्रू कौन सा बच्चा आया, उसने कितना पैसा भरा. तो अगर मेरे को 20% 30% मिलना है थ्रू दिस पार्टनरशिप, देन हाउ मच परसेंटेज एंड हाउ मच मनी एम आई सपोज्ड टू बी गेटिंग एट द एंड ऑफ दिस मंथ. That is the fifth thing that you need to be doing, right? So these are the 5 activities for the top of the funnel. And the last activity for the top of the funnel is that you need to become a spokesperson. You need to join road track clubs. You need to join Rotary clubs. You need to join all. Let me tell you a simple concept in any business that you do. It is that people respect momentum. Okay, people respect momentum. People need to be able to see that you are onto something, that your business is booming, that you are doing something left, right and center. मतलब ये कोई नई बात नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. There's a famous Hindi saying called as जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, and that is absolutely 100% true. Right? You need to be able to show momentum. When you visit a client, I talk with a lot of counselors when they start their business in their initial times, and we are having a conversation कि क्या चल रहा है आपके business में, right? So their initial response to that is, okay, I am talking to people. They are interested in the process. I mean, they are confused about their kids. But वो मुझसे कहते हैं यार मुझे अपने बेटे से ना IIT ही करवानी है, मुझे अपने बेटे से ना इंजीनियरिंग ही करवानी है, तो मुझे ये काउंसलिंग करके अपने बच्चों को at this point of time deviate नहीं करना है. Right? That is the one response that these parents give to the counselors, and they are like, अभी इसका क्या जवाब दे, क्योंकि they want to do this, they are sure about this. How do I talk about that? That's the first thing. Second is कि when they visit to a parent, the parent says that yes, they are confused about their children, but अभी नहीं करना है. Let them focus on their academics a little bit. Let them do this a little bit, and then we'll see. Right? These are the standard 2 responses that they get. The sole reason, I have analyzed this after talking to 500 plus counselors, the major reason why counselors get this kind of a feedback is because they are not able to show momentum to their clients. Right? What do I mean by that? जब client आपके साथ conversation कर रहा है and the client is able to see so much of you from everywhere, they feel like ये जो बता रहा होगा ना या फिर ये जो कर रहा होगा ना उसमें कुछ ना कुछ value है. There is something good that this person is going to tell me about, which I don't know of, right? Trust, exactly. Trust is the thing that gets established because of that. Now, in the case of Miss Vidya Murli, she's such a lady that who's never had an account on Instagram and Facebook, but we pushed it down to her that you need to make these videos primarily because if you make these videos, people are going to see that there's a lot that is going on your end. Right? She started getting views now. She started getting 1,000 views on some of the reels. Now, over the period of time, now that she has started making content in local language, in the next 2-3 months itself, she'll go viral over there. Now, when she goes viral over there and then some parent comes to her call, कि भाई, I am confused about my child. Can you help me out with that? And once she schedules a meeting, before the meeting, when the parent sees कहते हैं इनके Instagram पे ये चल रहा है, इनके LinkedIn पे ये चल रहा है, इनके यहाँ पे ये seminar हुआ. So when the parent comes and talks with the counselor, they are like, okay, I don't have a problem with paying 10,000 to you because I've already seen that there's a lot of work that you're doing. Those are the kind of trust and testimonial activities that you do. So the top of the funnel is where you are not supposed to give any information to any student at all. And this is highly relevant information to all the counselors over here because this is something that you should note down as well. Right? Top of the funnel. How do you build a funnel to be able to build your business? जैसे आप इस workshop को देखिए अगर, this workshop is my middle of the funnel activity. Okay, and I'll come to what do I mean by middle of the funnel. Top of the funnel was the ad videos which you saw for the workshop. Okay, तो मैंने क्या किया, मेरे पास मल्टीपल चैनल्स हैं लोगों को काउंसलर बनाने के लिए. ठीक है, वन इज अ चैनल वेयर आई एम डायरेक्टली टाइड अप विद बीएड एमएड कॉलेजेस कि आपके स्कूल और करिकुलम में इंटीग्रेट कर दो मेरा प्रोग्राम. दैट इज वन. सेकंड इज आई हैव डायरेक्ट लीड जनरेशन प्रोग्राम कि फेसबुक गूगल के ऊपर ऐड दिखती है, आप वहां पे फॉर्म फिल कीजिए, आपकी लीड जनरेट होती है, मेरी टीम आपको कॉल करके मेरे प्रोग्राम्स के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन देती है. बट ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम मैं काउंसलर्स को जब ये फनल बिल्ड करने में हेल्प करता था, आई रियलाइज दैट आई ऑल्सो नीड टू बी एबल टू बिल्ड अ फनल लाइक दैट फॉर काउंसलर जनरेशन. What I did was I adapted the educate first sell later model कि एक वर्कशॉप बनाएंगे, 2.5 घंटे लोगों को वैल्यू देंगे, एंड अगर उसके बाद उन्हें लगता है कि we've got all the information, they'll definitely come and work with us because we've got the value. So this workshop was created with that POV. I kept a fees of 500 rupees for the workshop just so that it doesn't contribute anything on my revenue table, but people who are coming to the workshop will pay 500 rupees. They will have a certain sense of intent. Like Mr. Prakash Nath gave me a feedback 10 minutes back, he come to the pointer. That means he's here to listen to the pointers. That means the leads that are going to be coming to the session are going to be highly intentful, right? And then in the workshop, I bring them to the middle of the funnel. That is exactly what you're supposed to be doing as well. Top of the funnel आपको समझ गया, 6 activities आपको समझ गए जहां से आपको अलग-अलग direction से leads लाने हैं. Now what you need to do is you need to keep on pushing on these channels so that the leads keep on flowing through every channel and you've got a visibility कि कौन से channel से कितना response मिला. But so far you have not talked about anything related to your business. You've not given any offers. You've not given any processes. That will be done in the middle of the funnel. What do I mean by the middle of the funnel? At the top of the funnel, you've got so many leads. Then in the middle of the funnel, the first channel is get a telecaller. Make him sit down, make him call those people and schedule an appointment with you. ठीक है, तो आपके पास वहां पे उतने लोग हैं, in 10 to 15,000 you get a telecaller, make them sit and make them call every person. Again, over there they are supposed to be referring to you as the director or as the CEO of your company. Why don't you come down and have a session with our counselor? That's the first channel. Second is you build a WhatsApp community. At this point of time, for all the counselors over here, what to do after 10th, what to do after 12th, what to do for NEET aspirants. Just for me, all the counselors that I'm working on, the main thing that we are doing at this point of time is community building. See, you need to be able to show momentum to your clients. तो पहला तो टेलीकॉल करने वाली एक्टिविटी है, उसमें क्या है, इट इज अ पुश एक्टिविटी. ये आपको उसको बोलना पड़ता है कि भाई आजा, so and so forth, right? You have to push the client to come to you. Over there, you are dropping on your importance a little bit. But second, in the community activity, what you do is, let me give you an example. Confused about what to do after 10th? Why don't you join my WhatsApp community for free, where I'm going to be helping you and giving you all the information about all the options available after the 10th grade in India and how do you make the most accurate decision. Simple WhatsApp message, join my community ka button in that WhatsApp message, shoot out that message to all of your top of the funnel leads. Bring them to the WhatsApp community. Keep on putting content in the WhatsApp community. Don't charge anything at all for that. Keep putting value over there. Keep putting information over there. Fire up your phone, record a front camera video ki 10th ke baad stream kaise choose karni hai. Put up that video in that community. Ask these people to invite more people in that community. That's how you build trust. That's how you build value. That's how you build your image as a person who knows what is supposed to be done and not a person who is just trying to sell ki ye mera cost hai, ye mera ye hai, so on and so forth. So the first is telecallers. The second is WhatsApp community. The third thing that you can do is workshops. Simple workshops. Very small 1 hour, 2 hour workshops. 9 rupees enrollment fee. Something that is cheaper than the packet of Lays that you can get in the open market. 9 रुपए में आप इस वर्कशॉप में आइए. We'll talk about how do you identify a career for yourself. जो मैंने स्टार्टिंग में साइकोमेट्रिक टेस्ट का एग्जांपल दिया ना कि 5 डायमेंशंस क्या है, what is interest, what is personality, what is motivators, what is EQ, what is learning style. If you explain that to any parent in a structured format in 1 hour, they will be ready to pay you 10,000 rupees after that 1 hour session. Because that is the most logical representation of how do you give your career to your child. Parents का सबसे बड़ा fear क्या है कि मेरा बच्चा कोई career choose करेगा तो 5 साल के बाद आके मुझे ये नहीं कहना चाहिए that okay I'm not interested in this field anymore. If you give them the logical explanation of why that happens, why that student thinks of switching their career 5 years down the line, they will know that you are the person who knows all of these things, and they will come back to you to buy your program. So the first is the top of the funnel, where you are just creating awareness about your business through multiple channels, through the sources that I talked about. That is the first thing. आप leads generate कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे, अपने आप के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं बता रहे हैं वहाँ पे. That is the first thing. The second is the middle of the funnel, which is you tell them about what is your process, how do you help them. You give them a gist about your knowledge through workshops, through communities, and through a telecaller. That is the second thing. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है, टॉप ऑफ द लीड के यहाँ पे आपकी लीड आई है, मिडल ऑफ द फनल में उन्होंने आपके साथ थोड़ा बहुत इंटरेक्शन किया है, अभी तक आपने उनको सेल करने की कोशिश नहीं करी है, राइट? You see, an Indian mentality is a very weird mentality. Let me tell you a psychological research done on this. And ये कई सारे लोग यहाँ पे relate करेंगे. आप जब क्रोमा स्टोर में वॉक इन करते हैं ना, in Reliance Digital, Chroma Store or Vijay Sales, when you walk into that store and if a person walks up to you and he tries to sell you, no, you get irritated. Kare, मैं देख रहा हूँ, I will check. But also on the contrary, if nobody tries to sell to you, you feel insecure. कि do these people feel कि मैं खरीद नहीं सकता हूँ, इसके लिए कोई आके मुझसे पूछने रहे कि सर आपको क्या चाहिए, आपको क्या लेना है. The flip side is what changes the entire narrative. If you don't try to sell, they try to buy, essentially. So in the top of the funnel, you just create awareness, you just talk about the lead, you don't try to sell. In the middle of the funnel, you give them the information, you talk about your workshop, you talk about your community, you don't try to sell. Then in the bottom of the funnel is where you create the final layer of trust by showing them testimonials that I am the person to help you to build your career. You show them the videos of people whom you have helped to identify their career, identify their education. Video testimonials work a lot. And at this point of time, let me show you some video testimonials of my own as to which are the counselors that I have helped to launch their business, how they have shared their testimonials with me, and how I have helped them to scale their counseling practice. So here we go with the testimonial. Let's have a look at that.
Do the fees first.
Hearing about how they are using AI.
There are so many courses, so many universities are there.
They want the world also to know that, okay, this is my business and this is how I work. The support which I have found over here, it was tremendous. It was fabulous. It is fabulous.
As a career counselor, there are so many courses, so many universities are there. On the one click, they can contact me and they can get all the information through website.
Hearing about how they are using AI. That made me feel like this program was aligned with the modern, evolving world of career counseling. It was refreshing to see such an innovation and practically combined. I knew right away it was the right fit for me.
There was room for asking questions. The best part is they want the world also to know that, okay, this is my business and this is how I work. That's such a lovely community. That's such a lovely team.
Also a personalized guidance, routine meetups, the follow-ups. Infigon literally guided me from the very first step. The website actually has the career library with over 1,300 career options, with also structured pretty well.
In Infigon, they have launched this chatbot. Also the skill book where the student chat with this and they give their subject choices and they get the different results as per the input.
So that business kit is really helped us in establishing our initial phase of counseling. The website name and all, what is your business email ID, and based on our own logo designs, they have designed the website for me.
They didn't tell you the fees first. They will just ask your interest, because your interest and your confidence level should be very important to enter into Infigon. The mock interviews after every session is very, very important. And daily call. The Infigon team, they are so pro in their work that they are not going to leave you in anyhow.
Any doubts, we can clarify within 24 hours. We can fix the time with the trainer. The way they are conducting the training is like very much interactive. It covers everything.
If someone from my age, if they want to get into business, we really cannot start with learning digital marketing and the whole process, how to get a website, how to generate leads, how to get into digital marketing stuff. It is giving a very strong tech platform.
All of these people. So that's about the last bottom of the funnel in terms of your entire lead generation program, right? So this is what we are also very aggressive on, that every person that we have helped to work with, we want to have a testimonial from you guys, right? So it's like, I am going to be doing the best of my job to help you launch your business, scale your business. So when I help you do that, I want you to give me a testimonial, because that's my fundamental right, if you look at it, so to speak, right? That is the same thing that you do as a counselor as well. You build an entire funnel. In the top of the funnel, as I talked about, in the top of the funnel that I talked about, we are just creating that awareness. We are just talking about, I am somebody who can help you out. We talked about the 6 channels through which you can generate the leads. We talked about the psychology that you're not supposed to sell, you're just supposed to tell yourself. That is the top of the funnel. In the middle of the funnel, you do your telecallers, your workshops, your WhatsApp communities, and you transfer the lead from the top of the funnel to the middle of the funnel. And then in the bottom of the funnel, you show them the testimonials that, okay, people like you who have previously come to me have gotten fantastic results and outcomes from the career counseling program that they have worked with me for, right? And once all of this is done, you have so far not talked about your pricing or anything of that sort. Only after all of these things are done is when you push for enrollment, is when you talk about your business. And this is called as the IDA framework that we follow. The top of the funnel is awareness. The middle of the funnel is interest. The bottom of the funnel is desire. And after the top, middle, bottom, awareness, interest, and desire is done, is when you push for action. And that time when you push for action, those people do not negotiate at all. Those people do not have any doubts at all. Because आप hastily कुछ भी करने की जगह पे, you have taken them through an entire funnel, and then you have pushed for conversion. And that is the process that you need to follow for your business, right? We talked about the funnel and we talked about the channel. Let me just tell you a simple thing, and this is applicable to everything that is there, right? I mean, I had been learning French for the longest period of time. I wanted to learn the language French. I wanted to be able to speak. And I was on a trip with my family to France once. And then my father told me, you've been learning French for so long, why don't you talk over there, right? Talking French over there. And I have dropped my entire goal of learning any other language or talking in French from that day onwards, primarily because when you are learning something or when you are doing something, and you are not fully prepared, and in spite of not being fully prepared, you start executing that skill, there are only 2 things that can happen. The first thing is you will never do it again because your confidence will be hampered so much. Or the second thing is that it will hurt your ego so much that you will be like, ki, abhi to main ye karke hi rahunga. But the second thing only happens with 2-3% of the people. The top 96-97 are the ones who end up giving up at that point of time. And that's the same thing that happened with me in terms of speaking in French, right? So in your business also, if a lead comes to you and you directly talk about your pricing, so on and so forth, it will not give you any result. They will not be accepting to that. You need to take them through a funnel of this sort, and that is when you will be getting the maximum results. Any doubts, any queries about the funnel? I'll address those now, and then we'll move on to the next part of the segment about what are the common mistakes which are done by counselors and how can you avoid them, right? Any questions, any doubts about the funnel? Feel free to shoot them, right? Because whatever queries you might have, there might be a lot of people who might have the same. Anything? Anyone? With me so far? If I would get a quick thumbs up, all of us are here. Perfect. Okay, thanks Dheeraj, thanks Shamkan, thanks Ms. Chinna Devi, Deep, thanks Mr. Rohit, thanks Mr. Michael, Mamta. All right, everyone is here. Almost everyone is listening. Okay. I'll move on to the next section, but in the next section, see, the thing is, this can become a lot of information, right? So I wanted to be a little bit more interactive so that we can talk more better. Okay. So one of the questions here is, I am not that pro with social media. Let me answer this thing to you. Nobody is pro with social media. Okay. Nobody knows, not just social media, nobody knows anything for that matter. Okay, क्या होता है ना कि when we look at social media, the point is that we look up to social media as something कि oh, I'm not that tech savvy, or I'm not somebody who's into content creation, I don't know how to face the camera, so on and so forth. The point is about precedence and precedence only. See, the thing is that you just need to know whether there is somebody who's done something of this sort and whether I can do it as well, right? Because if there is somebody who's done it, that means it is doable. If there is somebody that I know who has done it, that means I can do it as well, right? The thing is, what you need to do for this is you need to be able to identify your goals as to who do you want to become like, and then you need to be able to shortlist the people who've got similar backgrounds like you, who are from age brackets like yours, and then start following them up on Instagram, right? You need to train your algorithm like that, because once you do that, you start getting so much of information about this. Just say recently there is this entire trend going on of 70 plus people, 70 years plus people making content on Instagram saying कि आज मैं अगर 18 साल का होता तो मैं क्या करता. And all of these Gen Zs are following up because they are actually giving okay, if my voice is a little bit blur is what somebody has said in the chat box. Is it the same for others, or is there anyone who's be able to hear me and see me clearly?
Yeah, voice as well as visual, both are blurred.
Okay. Give me a second. Is it audible now?
Yeah, pretty clear.
Pretty clear.
Even
Got it.
visible.
Yeah. Perfect. So what I was talking about was what was I talking about?
Social media, about
Yeah, social media. Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to be able to identify the precedents and you need to follow those people. So there are people like Mr. Abhishek Gupta, late 40s. There are other ladies who have started making content recently. And then if you look at, let me share another screen. So jaise abhi, these are counselors who have gotten to a good extent. Now let me talk about another counselor called as Nirupama ma'am. She's from Mumbai. She's another counselor that I'm personally working with. This is her page, careers.infigonfutures.in. This is her business page, Aim to Succeed. She has started recently making content. Okay. Now you can see the entire journey in her content piece. And she's also somebody who's not that well versed with technology, social media, etc. This is her first video.
Every parent wants their child to be successful. But today, success has too many confusing.
Now here, one of the recommendations was that there is no subtitles in the video. There is a lot of space between the sentences and statements that you're making. The retention on social media is already lower. If you speak slowly, it will not give you the best results. She put up a couple of videos more. And then this was one of the videos where she got a little bit comfortable.
Degrees alone won't matter in the future. Skills will.
Right, this is where she put up the captions. This is where she's sitting a little bit more comfortably, and then she's putting up videos. Now she's become more and more matured with this, right? And what she's saying is that because of this content, she's now seeing their clients looking at her momentum and enrolling faster also, like that. And this is an actual testimonial from her, right? And this is one of the videos that was posted recently.
5 new age careers students don't know.
Now in this video, as you see, the hook is about 5 new age careers that students don't know. Now this is the evolving nature of her content, right? Now she's gotten to a place where there is no gaps between two statements. She's more comfortable on camera, and the hook of her video has also gotten better, because videos are all about the top 3 seconds. The first 3 seconds is all that matters, right? And I am somebody who's done a lot of research on content. So how many of us over here know Zakir Khan, the stand-up comedian? Anyone? Zakir Khan? We're aware, we've heard of Zakir Khan. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so I'll just show you one of the videos which I had made on Zakir Khan. And okay, you look at this video. जाकिर खान इतने सालों से हम सबको स्कैम कर रहा है और हमें पता भी नहीं चला। वो कोई स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन नहीं है। 2 साल That's it, right? That was the first 3 seconds. Zakir Khan is scamming us for all of these years. 1.5 million views. Zakir Khan has personally sent me a text on Instagram and stuff like that, right? What I'm talking about is he's scamming us in a way where he's not a stand-up comedian. He's actually an artist, right? He's actually like the Picasso of the Indian stand-up industry. I talk more about appreciating him and so on and so forth. Now, what is the vision behind this piece? The vision behind this piece is that there's this guy who's got a strong fan following. Okay, people follow him, they love him. He's one of the most famous stand-up comic in the country. I myself being a fan, that's a different aspect, but when I make a video on top of him, I directly catch hold of the attention of everyone who follows Zakir Khan. That means जिसके भी feed में ये video आएगा, they see Zakir Khan हमें scam कर रहा है, they're going to stay on that video, right? So I've hooked them. That's the first thing. Now then, what have I done after I have hooked them is that, see, on social media, the only thing that works is either you punch up or you punch down. ओके आप किसी चीज की बहुत प्रशंसा कर दो तो उस चीज को पसंद करने वाले लोग आपके साथ जुड़ जाते हैं, या आप किसी चीज को एकदम हेट कर दो ताकि उस चीज को हेट करने वाले लोग आपसे जुड़ जाते हैं. लाइक रिसेंटली आई मेड अ पीस ऑफ कंटेंट अबाउट, आई पुट अप अ स्टेटमेंट, राइट, कि all the people I mean, it's a very controversial thing. I keep on doing these things. You don't need to okay, but all the real world losers are looked up to at the gym, right? So all the people who go to the gym at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, all the people who are crazy lifting weights and stuff like that, क्योंकि सुबह उठ के कुछ करना ही नहीं है, तो आज रात को आप बॉडी तोड़ दो, कुछ करो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, तो बॉडी तो बनी जाएगी essentially, right? So all the people, now if you look at it, it's a, see, I don't mean it. It's just that people who are not able to make their bodies, they get somebody who make them feels included कि भाई तुम्हारी गलती नहीं है, तुम्हारी बॉडी नहीं है, तुम बस इंटेलेक्चुअल हो, तुम्हारी लाइफ में एक डायरेक्शन है, इसीलिए तुम्हारी बॉडी नहीं है, which is ultimately wrong. I know that. The point is anyone can go to the gym and make a body, but the point is कि you start associating with people like these. On social media, you'll see people make content which talks about Gujaratis or Marathis or South Indians or whatever. They associate people from segments and make them feel included, essentially. So they get shares, they get comments and stuff like that. So this is the strategies basically, right, on social media. So that's the answer to your question, Shivani ma'am, that you are not that pro with social media, but social media is something that you become a pro at. Nobody's a pro at social media. So that's that. Any other queries before I can go ahead with the next segment of the session, which is talking about common mistakes made by counselors. This was my main piece, by the way. The funnel is the main piece which I wanted to share, and the next segment is added details. Any doubts, any queries so far? Okay. Since there are none, I'll present my screen back again. Yeah, we've already talked about this, why this business is going to grow exponentially, and why starting your business as a counselor now would be the perfect ideal time for you. That is the first thing. We talked about what is the market, changing dynamics, parent earning potential, parent doubts, so on and so forth are all the reasons why career counseling as a business is going to grow exponentially. We talked about this, ki, India has more than 1300 career options, but parents are only aware about the top 50, 60. Statistically, they are only aware about the top 7 to 8 options, and thus the awareness is very low. We talked about the fact that there are not enough career counselors in the country. The globally accepted ratio of a counselor to student is 1:250. That ratio in the US is 1:70. In US में बच्चे को छोटी सी भी doubt होती है तो every street corner has a career counselor's office. 1:70 के ratio पे. That ratio in India at this point of time is 1:25,000 plus. So we have very few career counselors, because of which this business is going to grow exponentially. That's the next thing that we talked about. We talked about the market size and growth. We talked about the revenue model basically. When a student comes to you, you charge them upfront for career counseling. You charge around 10,000 to 25,000 rupees from the student for giving them the entire career counseling process. That is one. Second, for the marketplace enrollment, study abroad, education loan, accommodations, Indian admission, so on and so forth, you don't charge from the student. You make an affiliate revenue on every transaction that the student does on your portal. That is the second thing. This is again the pricing breakdown. like what skills do you need to be able to launch your career counseling business effectively? Okay, there's one more segment which I'm missing. The other segment which we need to talk about is what is the step-by-step process to launch your counseling business. First, second step क्या करनी चाहिए उसको ऊपर बात करते हैं अभी. But the essential skills that you need to have is you need to have the right listening skills. You need to have an empathy towards your audience. You need to have the right communication skills. You need to have the right questioning skills. You need to have the right trust building skills, right? You need to have these skills. Everything else can be covered up with the program that you go ahead with, right? So these are the basic skills that you need to have. What is the step-by-step process? Okay, this is an important segment. Okay, now what do I talk about with my counselors is that the French example which I gave to you, right? कि अगर आप पूरी तैयारी के साथ नहीं उतरेंगे, if you're not completely well aware of what is it that you're going to be, see, let me tell you first and foremost is that you need to be sold on the idea that this is what you want to do, and when you do this, it is going to create an exponentially high impact in the life of your clients, right? So I am completely sold on that vision that when I work with 50,000 counselors by 2030, and these people counsel 3.5 crore students, we will be the biggest pioneers in the career counseling industry in the country, and we will be able to make our product so good that when anyone comes over there and they interact with our platform, they will completely understand what is it that they are meant for, what is their passion. This is the conviction that I totally have. So whilst working with Motilal and all of these people, from having a very high package to switching into the field of education, the main reason was the conviction which I had in my head, essentially, right? So my family does a business in the field of finance. We run a wealth management office. My father and my sister run that office. We do around 750 crores in the Indian mutual fund market of assets under management, right? After all of that, I left that aside and started doing this because of my conviction in my head. That is the same thing that you need to be able to have as a career counselor in your head, that what you are doing for your clients is extremely important, and the first 3 months are supposed to be spent in building that conviction, because unless and until you don't have that conviction, you will not be able to scale your business accurately. Because the moment somebody says no to you, or somebody says कि मुझे तो भाई IIT करना है, मुझे काउंसलिंग वगैरह नहीं करना है, आप मुझे बताओ IIT के लिए कहाँ एडमिशन लूं, you will lose out the intent, you will lose out the motivation to do this business. Now how do you bring conviction to this? When I am talking to a parent, and this is the same thing that I want all the counselors that I work with to be talking to their clients as well, कि when I sit across with a parent, what I do is I open up an Excel sheet. And I show them a split of the expense that they are going to be making for the children from when they are born. तो मैं generally चालू करता हूँ junior KG से, from kindergarten. In kindergarten, in the first 2 years, you are spending this much on your child. School, bags, books, uniform, travel, blah, blah, blah. From first standard to 10th standard, you are spending this much on your child. Fees, tuitions, coaching, books, travel, blah, blah, blah. From 11th and 12th, on your coaching academy, you are spending 4 to 5 lakhs per year for your JEE, NEET, designing, coaching, blah, blah. For your degree college, you're going to be spending this amount of money every year. An average Indian middle class person who makes around 3 to 5.5 lakh rupees per annum ends up spending 25 lakh rupees in the entire lifetime of their student from kindergarten से लेके graduation. अगर ये बच्चा आगे जाके masters करता है, abroad जाता है, तब तो it touches a crore approx, right? When I am talking to a parent, my conversation with them is that 25 lakh रुपया spend करने वाले हो आप. I am charging you 20,000 rupees to tell you whether that 25 lakh is being spent in the right direction or not. Would you not do it? When you buy an iPhone, you will check out an iPhone on Chroma, Amazon, Reliance, Vijay Sales. You will go to that place, you will compare the pricing, you will see the chart, you will check out discounts. आप GST ये सब दुनिया जहान के जुगाड़ लगा के 60,000 रुपए की चीज खरीदने से पहले इतना दिमाग लगाते हो. अपने बच्चे की लाइफ की प्लानिंग करने से पहले कुछ तो खर्चा करोगे ना आप, otherwise we look at it. This is a kind of conversation that we need to have. We need to be able to have that conviction. I consider the fact that a parent who does not provide counseling to their kids is almost a criminal activity. Let me give you an example for that. Today, I work with a counselor called as Kramer Shah. He's from Mumbai. He runs a company called as Talent Home Solutions. His academy is in Andheri West. And in this academy, ऐसे एक counselor meetup हो रहा था, we were talking कि what is it that you do? He tells me I teach coding to people, and we're like, okay, who do you teach coding? So he's like, I teach coding to students from 4th standard to 7th standard. I'm like, what do you mean? So is that like a basic batch and then you go to an advanced batch? Well, no, 4th standard is the entry level batch, 5th is the mid level batch, and 7th is the advanced level batch. By the time these students graduate in the 8th standard, they might also enter into ethical hacking and fields like that. Game development to 5th, 6th standard mein hi karte hain. My thought process is that a parent who is said to his child कि पहले आप 10th standard पे focus करो, 12th standard पे focus करो, marks लाओ, college जाओ, so on and so forth. The competitor, your child's friend, is studying in Talent Home Solution from 4th standard to 7th standard. He has been learning coding for the last 10 years. Your child has just started preparing on that. So what you are saying is it's a 100-meter race. Your child will start from starting point. The next student will start from 50 meters ahead. And then you are telling your child, why are you not winning the race? And putting crazy, unwanted, undue pressure on his or her head. This is an actual criminal activity, right? Mental pressure is equal to physical pressure in today's world, if you look at it, and you are to your kids, if you look at it, right? So that's the kind of conversation we have with the parents, which gives them a sense of conviction. You need to have that conviction that what I am doing is going to be bringing a radical change in the life of the student that I'm working with, right? So the first 15 days, for the first 3 months, what I do is set up your social media handles, set up your Google My Business presence, learn your elevator pitch as to what is it that you're going to be talking with when you come across a parent. In 1.5 minutes, you got to be able to get their attention. Okay, let me give you an example of how do I create an awareness in the front of the parent. A parent is sitting in front of me. Hi, how exactly are you going to be working with me? How exactly are you going to be helping my child? So here's the thing. See, the most important thing for you to be able to plan your child is that you need to be able to get a vision into the future. You need to know what the future looks like, and you need to start top down and not bottom up. What do I mean by that? You need to start with what is it that my child is going to be doing 15 to 20 years down the line, and not with what is it my child is supposed to be doing after 10th or which subject is supposed to be selecting. How do I help you do that? In step 1, I do an entire background analysis. Before we plan for the future, I need to know your past. What is your skills, interests, weaknesses, goals, aspirations, financial background of the family, so on and so forth. I conduct 2 separate sessions, one with the student, one with the parent. So I get a completely unbiased information from both of you all. Step 2, I conduct a psychometric test. It's a 5-dimensional psychometric test which generates a 23-page report which helps me understand your child on multiple dimensions on a subconscious level. That's step 2. In step 3, I help your child identify the top 3 career options for them. What is it that your child is going to be doing 15 to 20 years down the line? I will be working with your child, and you individually will be shortlisting on the top 3. Step 4, we'll be building an entire education roadmap. What after 10th, what after 12th, what after graduation, subjects, skills, extracurriculars, everything. Step 5, today's world is all about skills. People have started working and doing internships at the age of 18, at the age of 19. Everybody is educated. 35 crore graduates in the country. What is going to help your child differentiate in comparison to everyone else is the skills that they have. And in the 5th step, we will build an elaborate skill development roadmap for the career options that your child has shortlisted for you. Mota moti, at the end of the entire 5-step process, you will have a very clear document in your hand about what does your child's future look like. Simple. 90 seconds, elevator pitch. Okay, so the 3rd step is you need to have an elevator pitch. You need to be able to grab the attention of your parent in a way that they feel that if I send my child over here, that's it, finished. That's the 3rd step. 4th is examples. अभी तक जितने examples हमने बात किए, iPhone खरीदने वाला example, child के education पे 25 लाख खर्च करने वाला example. Another example I'll give you. In pitch polishing. 4th is pitch polishing. See, the thing is, pitch polishing is what allows you to position yourself. You need to have that conviction in terms of when you are talking to your parents. See, when you are planning a trip, okay, when you're planning a trip in an Indian household, what's the step 1? Everyone in the family will come together. They will give recommendations. Kahan jana hai? India, abroad, India mein kaun si jagah, so on and so forth. Everyone will come with recommendations. Then you will shortlist on a place ki chalo yahan pe jaate hain. That's step 1. Step 2 is, how do I get there? Do I take a bus? Do I take my car? Do I take the train? Do I book the flight? Whatever. How do I get there? Mode of travel. Step 2. Step 3 is, what kind of clothes do I pack? Is it a cold vacation? Is it a hot vacation? Is it a summer kind of place? Winter kind of rainy kind of place? I need to pack clothes like that so that I can enjoy the place in the most efficient manner. That's the standard 3-step process when you want to do anything in an Indian household in the country. That is why India is so self-conscious. That is why India is so financially conscious, because their decisions are taken in a very structured manner. what you are doing with your child is that you're completely omitting step 1 and you are saying कि बेटा ये आपकी बस है, इस बस में आप बैठ जाइए, इस बस का तेल जहाँ पे खत्म हो जाएगा, that will be the destination in which you're going to go for a trip. What does this mean? You are completely skipping step 1 and you're telling your child कि take science after 10, बहुत सारे options खुल जाएंगे. But that is the mode of travel to reach to your destination. That is not how you plan your destination. You need to know what your destination is with the nuances of that destination. Only then you can come to step 2. Right? And that is very important. And if you've done step 2, but you don't have no plan about your step 3, आज की तारीख में लोग 6th and 7th standard से कोडिंग सीख रहे हैं. अगर आप step 3 प्लान करेंगे नहीं, बारिश वाली जगह पे जा रहे, छाता लेके नहीं जाएंगे तो नहीं घूम पाओगे ना वहां पे. So you need to have the right kind of skill. So the 4th step is about polishing your pitch. That's the 4th step. The 5th step is about me shooting a podcast with you. We uploading that on YouTube. You can visit Infigon YouTube handle and you can check out all the podcasts that we've shot with our previous counselors, so that you are launching yourself out there that I'm a career counselor. Okay. So stage 1 of your business is this. You need to do all of these things. Your presence needs to be sorted out. That is your stage 1. That is 0 to 3 months I give to counselors for that. 3 to 6 months is your initial clients. Initial clients आपके कहाँ से आते हैं? Initial clients, friends of friends, friends of my kids school, the local coaching center, the local academy, so on and so forth. तो जो हमने top of the funnel पे सारे channels discuss किए थे previously, वो सारे channels के through आपके initial set of leads आएंगे. वो leads आने के बाद you will be either running a community, you will have a telecaller, or you will have a workshop on the basis of which you will get those leads to the middle of the funnel. That is the initial client acquisition phase. So the first 3 months is getting yourself completely ready, getting your conviction ready. Next 3 months is getting your initial paid clients. Do only 3 to 5 clients in a period of 3 months. Understand where you're going wrong. Understand whether you are able to add value or not. Understand the kind of queries that the clients is asking you, whether you are able to address them or not. That is the next 3 to 6 months. The next 6 to 9 months is business expansion. Over here, you get into domains like digital marketing, you get into SEO, you get into community building, you get into joining BNI and clubs like that. That is the 6 to 9 month case where you expand to the next stage of clients. And finally, month 9th to month 12th, it is the end, last 3 months of your first year of starting your business is when you get into B2B partnerships. How do you crack B2B partnerships? उसके ऊपर मेरा पूरा अलग 2 घंटे का seminar है. But in short, let me tell you, your entry point needs to be very convenient. Like on the product that we have, as I told you, psychometric test is the main test, but uske alawa there is something called as a degree fit test, which is a stream fit test, which is just for 99 rupees. So when I visit a school, I give them this entire platform, and I tell them to give the platform to all their 10 standard students and let them take the stream fit test just for 99 rupees. What happens because of this is that you get an entry into the school. It is an extremely affordable product. All the students come into your universe because when they are creating an account on your website, you get their name, phone number, email ID. So you've got their leads now. They will take a very basic test which does not give any revenue addition to your business, but you are now into the loop. You're now into the system, right? So this is the process that you follow. 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 9 to 12 months, right? That's the process. Now, next is basic flaws. See, basic flaws is lack of patience with lead sources. Lead sources and channels are supposed to be treated as the most precious entity in your business. जैसे ये वर्कशॉप है, ये वर्कशॉप मेरे लिए बहुत ज्यादा वैल्यूएबल है. आई एम वन ऑफ द मोस्ट रिकॉग्नाइज्ड पर्संस इन द इंडियन करियर काउंसलर सर्टिफिकेशन मार्केट बिकॉज ऑफ द वर्कशॉप दैट आई डू, बिकॉज ऑफ द काइंड ऑफ वीडियोस दैट आई पुट आउट, राइट? इट इज अ वेरी important channel for me. This is the end. बहुत सारे workshops किए मैंने आगे अभी तक on the same name called as counselor success workshop. The first 2 or 3 did not give me any results at all, but once my ad platform had learned my target audience, तो आगे वाले workshop में मुझे काफी अच्छे result मिलने लग गए. But मुझे वहां पे 6 months 7 months रुकना पड़ा, तब मुझे वो result मिले. So lack of patience with lead sources. Second is expecting instant revenue. You are not selling a product. You are not a vendor. You are not an agent. You cannot expect instant revenue. You will only be able to generate long-term revenue. जहां पे आज आप कोई एक्टिविटी करोगे, उस एक्टिविटी से आपको 6 से 7 महीने के बाद रिजल्ट्स मिलेंगे. But you will get those results because kids are genuinely confused. They are searching for somebody, and somebody who sells upfront is not somebody that they trust. जैसे हमने वो psychology of sales वाली बात करी. That's the second thing. Third is inconsistent effort. You do something today, you don't do something tomorrow, you do something day after tomorrow, does not work. You'll have to be consistent. That's the third. Major mistake is not analyzing the work. Let me give you a classic example. And this is one of the most valuable insights that I'm going to be sharing with you. And this is something, because of us being young, we are able to track this very aggressively. See, a lot of counselors tell us that mera business nahi chal raha hai. I am not able to do business. I am talking to people, but they are not enrolling into my program. When I talk with them, I try to dig deeper. I try to understand the numbers, because analysis is extremely crucial for your business. तो वो कहते हैं कि अभी तक मेरे 4 ही बच्चे कन्वर्ट हुए हैं, मुझे 4 बच्चों के थ्रू कुछ तो 30-40,000 का रेवेन्यू आया है, बट आई एम नॉट एबल टू स्केल दिस बिजनेस. मतलब अभी कैसे बढ़ेगा, सिर्फ 4 ही बच्चे हों. द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन व्हिच आई आस्क्ड टू देम इज, आपने कितने लोगों से बात करी थी? द आंसर दैट आई गेट फ्रॉम देयर इज 8-9 लोगों से बात करी थी. 4 ऑफ देम हैव एनरोल्ड सो फार, 2 or 3 of them might enroll in the next week, और एक जो है वो अभी सोच रहा है. या फिर 8 लोगों से बात करी थी, 4 लोगों ने एनरोल किया, बाकी लोग सुने, इंटरेस्टेड है, लेकिन एनरोल नहीं कर रहे. What this means is, you talk to, what is your first number? The first number is top of the funnel, which is leads. You had 8 leads. Out of those 8 leads, how many of them were interested? 100%. All of them are saying I am interested, I am confused about my child. That means all leads are relevant for you. Okay, okay. Leads are there, 100% interested. How many of them got converted? 4. That means what is the lead to conversion ratio? Which is 50%, which is a fantastic number. Let me tell you the standard numbers of the Indian education industry. In the Indian education industry, when you're working with the students or parents, from the total number of leads that you get, the prospects that you are supposed to get is 20%. अगर मैं 100 लोगों से बात करूं, then 20 of them are supposed to say that yes, I am interested in this program, and other 80% always say कि नहीं, मेरे लिए ये नहीं है. So your prospect ratio is supposed to be 20%. ये वाले काउंसलर का कितना है? 100%. ठीक है. Now, out of these 20 people, how many end up purchasing your program? In the Indian education industry, the lead to conversion percentage is supposed to be 5%. Matlab, when you talk to 100 people, only 5 of them are supposed to be enrolling for your program. What is the prospect percentage or lead to conversion percent of this counselor? 50%. अब क्या है कि आप मैक्रो लेवल पे अपने डेटा को देख ही नहीं रहे. आप आपके अकाउंट में कितना पैसा आया उससे को देख रहे हैं, और उसके बेसिस पे यू आर गेटिंग डिमोटिवेटेड कि अरे यार 4 ही बच्चों ने एनरोल किया. बट लुक एट द परसेंटेज. नो, it's 50% lead to conversion. What you need to do now is that you need to increase the number of leads at the top of the funnel. Now, how are you supposed to track your business? कि पहले तो leads आपके पास बहुत आ गए. अब prospect percentage का benchmark क्या है? 20%. अगर 15 ही लोग इंटरेस्टेड है 100 में से, मतलब आपके लीड्स खराब है. अगर 25 लोग इंटरेस्टेड है 100 में से, मतलब आपके लीड्स अच्छे हैं. अगर 20 लोग इंटरेस्टेड है 100 में से, मतलब आपके लीड सही है, दे आर रेलेवेंट. तो आपको यहाँ पे पता चल जाएगा कि लीड खराब है या क्या खराब है. अगर 100 में से 20 लोग इंटरेस्टेड है, बट 5 people did not buy my program, that means your pitch is bad. This is what I mean by analyzing your work. If you track your numbers in the format of a funnel, every month you don't hit your business goals, you will get a clear answer of what went wrong. Did the lead go wrong? Did my pitch go wrong? Did my funnel go wrong? So on and so forth. क्योंकि numbers आपके पास सटीक तरीके से रहेंगे, and आपके पास एक precedence रहेगा. ठीक है ना, आपके पास एक precedence रहेगा कि क्या होना चाहिए. 100 में से 20 इंटरेस्टेड, 5 एनरोल्ड. Infigon works at 100 में से 20 इंटरेस्टेड, 2 एनरोल्ड. Because my order value is higher, the cost per client that I enroll is higher, so 2% is workable for me. Okay, so that is not analyzing your work effectively. That is one of the major mistakes. Second is not following a structured approach. A lot of counselors who are from the education background feel that once I start my business, I'll directly approach schools. Doesn't work like that. You'll have to, I'll start my business, I'll enroll into digital marketing. I have a digital marketing team which I provide to my counselors, they are the most experts in career counseling lead generation. आपने मेरे ads तो देखे ही होंगे. They are the same people who run my ads. They are the same people that I give to my counselors and they help them run their ads also. They are experts. Counselors come to my business, they enroll into the program. They're like, I want to start digital marketing. You cannot start digital marketing as on day one. You will get the relevant leads, but you don't have the experience of how do you convert them. How do you build a funnel? So you cannot go and jump ladders. You have to follow a step-by-step process. That's the second thing. And third is neglecting secondary activities. You have to do these secondary activities. You have to show about, you have to become a spokesperson. You have to be somebody who's going to places and giving talks. You have to be a member of these community clubs of local groups and events and stuff like that. You have to be present over there. Otherwise, you will not get the momentum in that. That's the third. Exploring multiple sources, effective pitching to parents. We've already talked about that. This is the step-by-step roadmap. फाउंडेशन फेज 0 to 3 months में आपको ये सारी चीजें करनी है. पिच रेडी करना है, पॉलिश करना है, एग्जांपल्स करने हैं. फिर यहाँ पे we've already talked about all of those things. Expansion strategies, B2B business. Yeah, I think we've already covered most of the pointers over here. So in the session, what we did was we started talking about the future of this industry, the future of this business, why this industry is going to be growing exponentially. Then we talked about how can you, what is your business model? How can you onboard a client first and then connect them to the marketplace and make affiliate revenue on every transaction? That is the second thing that we did. The third thing that we talked about is how do you not sell but build a funnel, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, and then you push for conversion. The fourth thing that we talked about is the common mistake that end up doing in their business. That is the fourth thing that we ended up talking about. And the last thing that we will talk about, and then I'll take the questions as well. The last thing that we're going to be talking about is how do I help you to do all of these things? Just give me a second. Yeah. How do I help you to do all of these things? So as I told you, my primary business is to help people to launch and scale their own career counseling business, for which we have